Hello, how's it going? My name's Eric, and today we're going to be talking about volumetric lighting as how it applies in games. Before I get into it, if you're interested in video games and the art side of video games, this is all I do here, so feel free to stick around. So, what is volumetric lighting? In simple terms, it refers to a lighting style that allows viewers to see beams of light through the environment, also known as God rays. Beyond that, it also encapsulates how light interacts with the environment, be it reflections, refractions, subsurface scattering, all sorts of other things. Like most other game design terms, volumetric lighting comes from the world of film, and oftentimes the aim of game engine tools is to mimic tools and effects that we use in real life, like volumetric lighting, lens flare, and fog. So I'm going to be walking you through a scene in Unreal made by Polyassets 3D. So this beautiful scene is like a forest. You can see the first thing that I was talking about, which is the God rays. There's like a lighting source here, and then you can kind of tell there's like some sort of ray going back and forth from the light source to the camera, right? You can also see lens flare if I aim it just right. And like I was saying, volumetric lighting encapsulates that and things like reflections in the water and refractions in between. This isn't deep enough to really show it, but you can see a lot of reflections on the Unreal Man character. So this is generally the aim of a lot of these tools, is to mimic real life. So you can see this like floating particles, which you might see in a forest in real life, and in reality they're just JPEGs that are floating in a very specific way. Same with the falling leaves and even the just regular leaves and foliage itself. It's all meant to mimic real life, the way that the light bounces through them and all those things. So now I'm gonna take you guys to a little bit more technical, so exciting. So okay, in Unreal you get these cool things which are like different rendering modes. So right now it's lit, so you can see it's lit. But you can see all the different textures and all the maps that are applied into it. This is unlit without having the actual volumetric effects. You see everything seems a lot plainer. Sorry for that. Everything seems a lot plainer, and there's not that much life to it. It almost looks like a screenshot from like the early 2000s because they didn't really have that sort of technology yet. And I will switch it back to lit, and that's with all the lighting effects, with the fog, with the God rays, and all these nice shadows. And another thing that might be interesting is let's see, lighting only. So this removes all the textures, and this render move removes all the textures, and all you really see is the effects of the light. So you see how some things are kind of transparency, how some things aren't, and the light just bounces off, the shadows that are cast, and then once again the God rays and how everything affects the environment in a more concise way without being distracted by all the like really beautiful textures that were put into this scene. Another thing is, let me see, light map density. So light map density is actually, let me not click from there. It's basically whenever you have a scene that renders in a game, it creates another set of maps or textures, and those are the shadows. So it has like an index. I'm not sure if you can see it here because it's usually towards the bottom. But basically blue means good, red means bad, and anything closer to red means bad as far as like performance. This, surprisingly enough, because foliage is very performance heavy, is all in the blues. I mean, there are some instances here where it's like closer to red, but not by much, and it's to be expected of a scene as foliage heavy. So overall it's very optimized, and that helps the game perform better. And this is all just to do with the lighting of the engine, not to do with the models and not to do with the other textures. Alright, so I have to make a quick cut because I was having issues finding that last menu. But basically, ambient occlusion is here, and like I was saying, these are basically all the shadows that are already baked into the environment, and that's already pre-calculated by the machine, right? So this is usually done in the texturing phase of each one of these assets, but some of it's actually done in the rendering and building stage, like this big environment, I guess, floor piece that we're standing on. So yeah, that's, I mean, the basics of lighting and well, not lighting, but just volumetric lighting in general, and just briefly touching on some of the things that go into it. And as always, if you have any sort of questions, comments, or whatever, I'll be happy to answer them as best as I can. Alright, so that's pretty much the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you for Unluckymrgrim for suggesting this topic. I'm probably gonna either go back in the back burner of all the other topics I have in mind to cover, or if you guys have a suggestion, I might do that one beforehand because that's what happened in this instance. So yeah, have a good one.